I do think we have a quorum here. I think everyone joined pretty much on time. That's great to see. Bob, I'll hand it over to you. We can kick it off, and I hope everyone enjoys their lunch right now and is looking forward to some information about Zero Trust.
Hey, thank you, Julian. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Bob Lam. I'm the co-founder, CEO here at ShardSecure. And then with me also is Mark LaSalle. Hello, Mark, from Entrust. And Mark is the senior strategic account executive at Entrust. I can't tell you how excited we are here at ShardSecure today to have Entrust joining us for this virtual lunch and learn. There's a terrific partnership going on for over a year now between Entrust and ShardSecure. Our products are integrated. We also have a go-to-market partnership. So really thank Mark and our speaker, Ed Reynolds, joining us today as well. So we have two great speakers today. One is Ed Reynolds, who is in the Entrust Center of Excellence, and he's a digital security consultant. And also Julian Weinberger, our field CTO at ShardSecure. I think, Mark, the good thing about this virtual lunch and learn is hopefully the folks are enjoying the lunch right now. But also, I think we're really going to focus on breadth of breed data security today, right? Because ShardSecure, we have a strong focus on unstructured data, and Entrust has a strong focus on structured data. So I think we really want to talk to the audience, and hopefully they will learn something from the two data security experts today.
Great. Thanks, Bob. And I just want to thank you and the team for the great partnership, great alliance, and all the work that's gone into today's program from your team. We really do appreciate it. As you said, it's been a great partnership and a lot of great content today on best of breed and just information on zero trust and data security. We've got two great speakers for you, and also want to thank you and your team, Bob, for providing the lunch vouchers to all of our participants. So we appreciate everybody's time today. And I guess without further ado, why don't we move on to our great speakers here, that both Ed Reynolds from Entrust and Julian Weinberger from ShardSecure.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much. Ed, I'll give it to you.
Thanks, Julian. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Security is evolving with information technology needs and hopefully ahead of the pace. And there's a few key events or signposts that I'd like to point out today, that are causing the security landscape to evolve in the areas of digital transformation. Post-quantum, we're facing an event that's probably a greater magnitude and certainly more relevant than Y2K ever was. Our public key infrastructure is going to break with the advent of quantum computers, and we need to upgrade our key exchange and signing algorithms to make sure that we stay ahead of that. There's no perimeter anymore. There's very few IT organizations that can claim all their applications and data locations are completely under their control. And we need to adopt a zero trust mentality where we authenticate everything and we use a least privilege sort of access mentality. And finally, the multi-cloud obviously has made huge changes in networks where the data resides. And it's not just the proliferation and variety of access points, it's the number of both what I would call on-purpose IT applications as well as the shadow IT applications that are being used from various and sundry private and public clouds. So if you can switch the slide, Julian. So let's drill down a little bit on a few of these challenges. When the security needs to address some substantive sort of new plays in the market, before with the number of new entry points and exit points for data, the larger attack surface has been created. Increasing data privacy regulations. I think I read the other day there's now 162 national laws and 20 bills in progress out of 195 countries. So virtually all countries are on board, putting data privacy regulation out there. We need to keep abreast of those and understand their impact on the security technologies. Everything connected. Your refrigerator is connected. There are so many ways to gain access to a network these days through devices that are on board. And we need to be cognizant of that. New payment methods. I remember when PayPal, was a big deal, right? Now we have Zelle, Venmo, Google Pay, Square, Stripe, so many different ways to make payments. And those are actually key targets for hackers and those with malintent that want to attack, because the primary motivation is always money, right? And so many public and private clouds that are being used within our IT organizations. I read a statistic the other day that the average business uses about 120 different cloud or SaaS apps in their environment. Some are production, and as I said, some of them are what we call shadow IT. So if you switch the slide, Julian, let's talk a little bit about what zero trust looks like. And I'm sure you are all familiar with this. This is just to say that Entrust, as an organization, has adopted the CISA model. And we have solutions that span most of the pillars, if not all of them. We're leaders in identity with a recent promotion to challenger in an often referenced Magic Quadrant. Device security like passwordless, authentication methodologies, network access. We also invest heavily in enabling compliance through policy automation and reporting across many solutions, and we're looking to provide cross-solution compliance in some of our roadmaps. So with that, just as a stage setter, I'm going to talk a little bit more about application and data protection, which is the last pillar here. And I'm going to let Julian take over here, because this is going to be the focus of the rest of the session, is a novel approach to data protection that I think you're going to find super interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. I think what's very interesting here, we think about devices and network and all of this, identity and data is really something which is extremely important, right? And we've seen that identity data is most likely one of the points people struggle with and needs to be approached. We at ShardSecure, we focus on unstructured data, which is basically your files and folders and your file systems and so on of your systems, which are often broken and breached in ransomware attacks. And most likely, if you've seen about a large breach, this is kind of what we're focusing on. When you hear about 13 terabytes are exfiltrated, it's most likely unstructured data, one way or another. So ShardSecure is a fairly new technology in the market. We have a great adoption in very large organizations nowadays. But what ShardSecure is basically a way to securely protect your data in multiple different ways. So ShardSecure sits in between your application servers and whatever reads and writes data, basically, and your storage location. The storage location could be the cloud or could be file servers and so on. And really within that, we introduce data security, means we encrypt the data. We can also introduce data resilience, which means we can do data integrity checking, health checking. Is the data still good? Was there a ransomware attack? If there was a ransomware attack, for example, we can bounce back and recover in real time, and therefore really focus on all the issues that unstructured data has. If we also think about zero trust in the unstructured data world, I think I'm just going to use a simple file server or the cloud as an example. Every file server we've ever seen, and so does every cloud I've ever seen, has some kind of privileged admin that has access to complete of the data. In every attack, this privileged access or this privileged admin gets exposed and data is exfiltrated. So it's very important to actually protect exactly this, especially in the unstructured data world. We'll also see this in a bit. Ed and his team and at Entrust, they focus very much on a similar issue with data security in the structured world, which we'll walk you through in a bit. The beauty with ShardSecure is it is extremely easy to implement. You can see it's kind of in the middle. It's transparent. It's a plug-and-play solution. It doesn't have any performance impact. There are no agents anymore required. So it's a really good way of implementing data security to your unstructured data, files, and folders. When we see of where people are introducing it, or let's see, what we focus on, data protection is very important. That's your typical area of how do I make sure that only an authorized user can really read data. So how do I make sure that none of the admins can necessarily read my data? How do I make sure that the cloud provider cannot read my data, right? And also that comes down to things like application teams, how do they implement it, or even in the AI world. Data resilience is another pillar we cover. And really what we've seen is once you encrypt data, right, everyone can hide the data, but then you're still exposed to attacks that actually attack the integrity or the availability of your data. So we protect from this as well. And last but not least, this also helps you in the data privacy world, where we're talking about compliance and regulations, especially cross-border data protection. How do I move data across different borders without violating compliances or regulations, right? Very, very specific topic, which a lot of data security addresses nowadays. ShardSecure has been named 2023 Cool Vendor in Privacy by Gartner. I think that's obviously awesome since it's a third-party accreditation here. What's very interesting to see what Gartner says about it. It says, hey, CIOs and IT leaders should look to protect personal data in untrusted environments, such as the public cloud, or to overcome any data residency or sovereignty issue regarding compliance and regulations. So it's definitely a new technology and a new approach that people like to see, and as well as Gartner. And if you're interested, feel free to reach out. We'll send you the Gartner report as well there. When we look at the top use cases, as we mentioned initially, we're very focused here at ShardSecure on unstructured data, since our friends over at Entrust really provide the structured data solution there. But it comes down to, how do I implement a zero trust approach on a data level to my largest data repositories, right? That's kind of what it comes down to. So this goes pretty much from, how do I protect my file servers so my file server admin is not exposed to any of that and ransomware can't get in and clean me out, basically, to very much the same in the cloud, where how do I protect myself from a cloud admin being abused, or even a cloud service provider being abused. We've seen this in the headlines recently. Another big issue with the cloud, especially if you are an organization, is data resident and compliance, right? I see a lot of struggle with compliance in Europe, especially Germany. How do I put European data into an American cloud provider? Another thing that comes up more and more in the world of unstructured data, because a lot of people don't know that it's unstructured data, is AI and machine learning data sets and models. So everything you hear about AI nowadays, all the data that is leveraged to train it, the data sets are all files and folders, more or less. They're all unstructured data and large data sets that gets committed to a model, and the model itself is files again. So that needs also protected from your typical attack vendors of exfiltration and so on, but there's also poisoning and re-engineering of the model. All of that comes down. And backup, we all know we have tons of backups, and there needs to be a way to protect this. A lot of our backup systems are still on the typical air gap scenario, which is not a scenario you like to see in the cloud, since there is no real air gap. So ShardSecure helps out there a lot regarding how do I protect my backups, make them completely secure and resilient, as well as completely high available. It means even if something like a cloud provider goes down, how can I still have access to my data? And then also ransomware. Ransomware has been something we all heard so much in the news. Everyone got exfiltrated one way or another. I think one of the problems we have as an industry, that our ransomware protection was mostly either on detecting some kind of computing engine, right? So something gets executed and we try to protect it, but we all know that the numbers are kind of against us. It takes one successful hit. And then if that hit comes in, we're relying on backups, which, if any of you guys have ever gone through a recovery of a backup, it's usually your last resort. It's not your preferred one. So ShardSecure is really a data set approach to ransomware protection, how to heal and really bounce back from ransomware instantly without you having any operational downtime. And last but not least, a lot of our customers are also SaaS providers, and SaaS providers need to provide data security features and functionality to their customers, like yourself probably. You know that when you sign up for a SaaS provider, you request certain things like, do you have a bring your own key? Do you have a bring your own storage? What do you do around data resilience and data residency? And we provide SaaS providers an easy plug and play to fulfill those needs in data security. So if we really look, and I talked a lot about unstructured data, and then I want to hand it back to Ed. But if we see in our world we usually deal with, there's structured data. This is your data that usually resides a lot in databases and things like this. And there's unstructured data, which is your files and folders and different shapes they come in. They all need to be protected. Entrust provides great solutions for encryption. We provide a technology that's called microsharding. This is a very fast, agentless way of protecting the data. All of this, in the end of the day, relies on master key and a root of trust. And a root of trust, if you're not familiar with, is basically exactly what you need to trust in your environment if you can't trust anything else. And Entrust has been the leader in the space for years and years. And therefore, I'll hand it over to Ed to go over Entrust and their HSM offerings.
Thanks, Julian. So as Julian said, an HSM, a hardware security module, if you're not familiar with it, is a foundational root of trust. It basically does three things. It generates real strong encryption keys because it has a true random number generator in it. I don't know if you folks are aware or not, but you really can't generate truly random numbers in software. They're just software produces patterns. It's the nature of the beast, but a hardware-based random number generator, is truly random, and that creates the strongest of keys, regardless of the encryption methodology that you're using, whether it's an RSA key or an AES key for encrypting a database. It also stores those keys, and this is a vault that is tamper evident, tamper resistant. If you try to get into the thing in an unauthorized way, it basically zeroes out all of the customer added data. So it is, the strongest vault also that you can provide for those secrets and keys. And lastly, you can perform cryptographic operations inside the HSM. Typically, this is going to be stuff like signing, certificates, or signing a message, an encrypted message, or authenticating a user using public key cryptography. And those things happen inside of the boundary, the FIPS boundary of the HSM. So fundamentally, what you end up with in an HSM is it's a generated here, stored here, operated here kind of secret environment that's virtually invulnerable to any kind of remote attack. If you go to the next slide, I'll introduce you to our latest generation of hardware security modules. It's the EnShield 5 family. It's our next generation module. We use this in organizations that need a world-class HSM that can perform a range of different performances. We have multiple models of this. The EnShield 5S is depicted here as basically a PCI Express card that can be plugged into any industry standard server with an available slot. The EnShield 5C is a purpose-built 19-inch rack mountable data center version of this. The new EnShield 5 will actually be certified not to FIPS 140-2 level 3. It will be certified to the new FIPS 140-3 standard, which raises the bar a little bit for the kinds of things that an HSM has to be able to do to protect the generation of keys and the storage of cryptographic information. You can also purchase, if you don't have a lot of crypto experts on your staff, or your ability to budget for some of this stuff is limited, you can do this as a service using operating budget instead of capital expense by using our EnShield as a service offering. It's the same products with the same security, just operated in an Entrust cloud, as opposed to putting them on your own premises. The couple of things that I want to point out is the crypto agile architecture. You heard me mention, quantum computing and the threat that it poses to public key cryptography coming up here real soon. When exactly, we don't know, but it could be, as early as a few years from now, 2026 or so. But we've built this with an FPGA-based design that will allow firmware upgrades in the field, so that you can upgrade to the latest cryptographic algorithms without having to change out the box. And I'll also offer that we have a region that can be licensed within the EnShield 5 that's called CodeSafe. CodeSafe is a place inside the protected boundary of the HSM where you can run pretty much any kind of software operation that you want to hide from the outside world. And we have a post-quantum software developers kit that actually can be installed in CodeSafe to let you experiment, test, get familiar with the candidate algorithms that NIST is in the process of approving for key exchange and for signing. So that's kind of what an HSM is, what the Entrust EnShield 5 can do for you to help you stay crypto agile in this changing world. And I think with that, we are done PowerPointing you. And we've got a little activity that you all can, take a little adventure. In the chat, you're going to find a link to a quiz. And if I'm not mistaken, there are some, gifts, I would say, prizes associated with being the top dog or top dogs in the quiz. Much enviable materials here. And if you want to get into that, go for it. And also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're opening up to questions, right, Julian?
Yeah. Feel free to ask any questions. We can unmute you and we can have a conversation. It should be a lunch and learn. So if you want to share that, if not, you can always ping us privately in the chat as well. And as Ed said, take a look at the quiz. There's great giveaways, and, great last gifts as well, in my opinion. I can't participate, but have a look and have fun with the quiz.
Hi, my name is Lavander from DTCC. I have a question about ShardSecure and whether it works with mainframe, right? So I heard cloud, I heard on-prem, but I don't think you guys spoke about on-prem, and I was late to the meeting too, so you might have touched on that earlier.
Yeah, it totally works on mainframe as well. We're really holistic on what it is. We're focused on unstructured data, and that obviously is in mainframe as well. And then yeah, but we can have a breakout session on specifically on mainframe and what we can do there. But it really doesn't matter on where the data resides.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'll just share while you're all doing the quiz. The top prize is that Sonos speaker, which very nice time of year for winning something like that or providing it to someone else. Second place is the Lacrosse atomic clock that you see there, pretty cool digital clock. And then third place, we have a few complete pickleball sets, which seems to be taking the country by storm. So good luck with the quiz.
Man, I'm sorry I can't participate in that. That pickleball stuff sounds enticing.
Oh, we gotta have a match then at some point.
You bet.
Well, I guess whoever wins the pickleball sets, let us know. We'll set up a tournament, and lunch and learn tournament.
That's funny. And whoever wins the atomic clock, make sure you have your hazmat suit on all the time when you set the dial. No other questions?
He's focused on their quizzes.
Yeah, good idea. No chatting during the test. I think that was always the rule in college, wasn't it?
And I think Linda will let us know when most of the quizzes are in, not all.
And we'll give it one more minute, and then we'll wrap it up and let everyone enjoy their lunch. Okay, I'll hand it over to you, Mark and Bob. I think most of the quizzes are fulfilled. We'll reach out to the winners. You'll get another form where you can enter your address and then get all the good goodies you won from our team. And then Mark and Bob, if you want to wrap it up.
Okay, I cannot get my video back on, but I hope you can hear me. Thank you everybody for joining us today. We have a great audience today, and thank you for all the speakers. Happy holidays to everybody. Mark, do you have anything you want to add?
You're muted, Mark.
Sorry about that. Just two things. Thanks, Bob. One, Linda just put a note in that only a few quizzes have come in, so we can stay online for another few more minutes for those that still want to submit one. Some great prizes there. And again, I want to thank Ed and Julian, our speakers today. Put a lot of effort into what you just saw over the last 20 minutes and a lot of coordination. So we appreciate that. And again, just to thank Bob, his team, our team, from both the marketing sides, but particularly ShardSecure drove most of the work on this. So we really appreciate that. And for any additional information that you need today, there'll be an opportunity to follow up. So please reach out to either organization at any point. And thank you for sharing your lunch hour with us. Hope you found it productive and had a nice lunch, and hope everybody has a safe holiday season. So I think we can keep it open for a few more minutes for any last minute quizzes, but thanks again. A pleasure being with all of you today.